Hey everybody, welcome back to Reissued. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. Today we're going to be taking an ordinary 3-drawer base kitchen cabinet that I thrifted and turning it into a sort of wall pull-out cabinet that's going to disappear into the wall back behind me in my new guest bathroom. So if we go back in time, you may remember that this bathroom has been totally added. This was not here before. This was like 2 closets. One of them had laundry, but we have walled this whole area off and framed it in to be a bathroom, which is very exciting. Planning the layout for that space was a little bit tricky because it is quite small and there were a lot of things that we wanted to put in there, including the laundry. Also, there is a skylight up at the top, so that kind of determined where we could place things as well. And so we ended up with this kind of dead space back behind where the shower tub combo is going. And one of the things that I really wanted for this space, even though we'll have some storage in the medicine cabinet, some storage in the vanity, I wanted some space to store like kind of bigger, bulkier products. Because we're doing the washer and dryer in there, like you need a place to put like detergents and that sort of thing, right? Something that's not really pretty, you don't want to see it. And it's also potentially kind of tall. And so I thought it would be really cool to do a pull-out unit that would totally disappear into the wall when it's closed, and the little towel bar for the sink will go there, and that will be our handle to open and close this piece, right? So we've had the plan to do this for a really long time, and we were thinking about like, we bought drawer slides, and we were gonna build a whole configuration completely from scratch. But then since we were gonna build a cabinet, I was like, why don't we just thrift a cabinet? And so that part would be done already. And then we decided that if we got something that had the drawer slides already, all of the mechanisms would already be assembled and it would be way easier potentially. We'll see how that goes. And so the plan here is to make some cuts onto the cabinet to turn the 3 drawers into essentially 1 drawer with shelves, and to put a plywood front on it that would just blend into the wall. So hopefully that'll work out. Let's see how it goes. Also, in case you're wondering, everything in this area has a lovely pink glow right now because we just sealed the floor with this like waterproof sealant stuff because we're applying the tile directly on top of the plywood. So yeah, everything's gonna have kind of a pink cast. Woo!
Since the horizontal front-facing panels that we need to remove from the cabinet are interlocked into the vertical panels, we will need to cut them out. This would be totally doable and probably more accurate with the handsaw, but to save some time, I'm using a vibrating saw. I want to remove these bars so that the taller products don't hit them when I slide the cabinet closed. The cuts are kind of rough, partly the tool and partly the user, but I can go in after with some sandpaper and work to make the cuts flush. For areas that I cut too much or where there were existing holes in the cabinet, I add a little wood filler, let it dry, and then sand it smooth. I also go ahead and remove the upper drawer slides since I won't be needing them.
So part of the inspiration for this cabinet idea is this cabinet that I have in the kitchen. When I was configuring everything and working with standard size cabinets, I ended up with a like weird 9-inch space on the left side of the range. And so I opted to turn that into a kind of spice rack place. So I ended up purchasing like an off the rack Home Depot 9-inch cabinet, then got this Revis shelf unit to go inside. I think that was priced at like $135 for the insert. So when we came around to the bathroom, I was looking for something that was a little bit more affordable because the kind of inserts that you can get for cabinets that are customized are really, really helpful, but they can be really pricey. So hopefully this will be a cheaper way to make it happen. We'll see.
Next, we need to cut a top for the cabinet since it doesn't currently have one and there won't be anything to block the top from the big gaping hole above it. So we measure and cut one out of some spare plywood just to be sure that the cabinet is fully sealed off and secure. I pre-drill holes and then screw it into the top of my cabinet. Time for a test fit. You can see how the framing was put in place to give the cabinet something to rest on. This will vary depending on the placement and construction of your wall, which is why I don't really go into too much detail about it here. Once we get the cabinet sitting level in the opening, we can measure for our plywood, which will act as the door piece and fill in the rest of the wall. I purchased a higher grade plywood piece specifically for this project since I wanted a very smooth wall-like finish. Always be sure to measure all parts of the area that you're covering, since walls are often uneven and not square, especially in older homes like mine. As expected, the back wall is angled slightly, so we will need to cut the piece on a slight angle to fit snugly. With the piece cut, we carefully measure the placement of the opening in relation to the wall and corner, and temporarily screw the piece in place outside the door area that we measured. Then we can draw in the door placement where we'll cut. This next part was super tricky and definitely above my skill level. Most cuts allow you to start at the edge and work all the way across, but here my dad is plunging the saw directly along the line in the center of the board without going all the way to either edge. We wanted to maintain the strength of the full board by not breaking it into smaller pieces. However, this meant that there was almost no room for error since the door piece that we're cutting out of the center needs to fit tightly into the opening that it was cut from, if that makes sense. If you don't have a very capable saw wielder helping you, you can drill some small holes and then use a jigsaw or a hand saw to cut out the piece. Or you could place your cabinet facing flush with the drywall and use a mirror, cabinet door, or piece of art that's slightly bigger than your opening to create your door. Kind of like a lot of medicine cabinets that are inset into the wall. I envision my door being super seamless and part of the wall, since the wallpaper pattern is going to be kind of loud and complicated, so too much other stuff might clutter the look.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that's so satisfying.
As we place the wall piece back on, we drill out the screw holes a bit so that we can countersink the screws and fill them later to make them disappear. Now we can place the door and attach it. We found that we needed to use shims to space it evenly in the opening before drilling through the door and into each drawer. It took a little adjusting to make it fit in cleanly without hitting anywhere, since we made the gap around the door as small as possible. But when it worked, it really worked.
Okay, so yesterday we went in and did some taping on the corners and filled in some of the holes, so it's now like a real wall more or less. And so today I'm gonna go in and do some wood filling on the actual door panels and then do another coat of some plastery stuff. Okay, so last night off camera, I did some more patching on the wall, patching, sanding, wiping, just trying to get this as smooth as possible. We won't really know how I did until we put on this first coat of primer, so fingers crossed I did enough. I went ahead and removed the drawers and the hardware and everything so that I would be able to get into paint. So we're ready to prime, let's do it. So, as expected, painting did uncover and magnify every issue. Not to mention that my crappy little roller didn't want to roll half the time. Needless to say, that was a frustrating experience. I flagged a couple of places that need to get further patching and some places on my wood piece that need to get sanded, but it could be worse.
After more patching, painting the entire room in my favorite off-white, decadent from Valspar, and more patching, we reattached the door. And we found out that priming and painting the door unattached to the cabinet was a big mistake, since the paint warped the wood door slightly, making it not fit properly. We had to rig a 2x4 across the room to bend it back into place. The important part is paint your door in place to be sure that it holds its shape when painted. After searching high and low for a unique handle or towel bar that could serve as our secret doorknob, I stripped the front door and found this old brass knocker. It had been awkwardly added to this door somewhere along the line and didn't fit or function. This should be perfect for our handle.
Hey everybody, present day here. It's been a couple months since the last update and I'm finally getting this video edited and put out because I have finally come around to finishing the wallpaper enough. I just painted over where the hidden door is. I wanted to wait to do the wallpaper on top so it would really disappear into the wall and give the full before and after effect. There's still some painting in there to go on other areas, but just reattached the handle, everything's good to go. I'm so excited to show you guys. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more cool ideas like this, if you want to keep it with my house renovation, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you like this video. I'll see you guys soon. Are you so needy? What do you need? Queenie, down? Can you roll over? Oh, yeah. Good girl.